Okay. I think, how many are there? There's 6. I think we're missing 7. I don't think we had 8. Today we're going to start. Mem Gimel Amud Aleph. That's 43a. Itmar. Towards the bottom. Yeah. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn every day. So we're learning this in English immediately. It says like this. Itmar, we have a statement of Amiram. Usually Itmar is followed by a machlekes. It's been stated. Itmar means Isamar. It's been stated, but this is usually a machlekes. Rav Amar Shliach Naseid. Talking about you're sending a shliach to do something. Maybe you're sending him to make the marriage. You remember we learned that the man can send a shliach to do the Kiddushin. Maybe you're sending him to pay money back. And you need a witness for those things. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. You know his confirmation number. You know, they give you a hard time. Just 1 second. I lost the Zoom. Okay.
And your last name is Smith.
Okay. You may have another. That's just the New Haven one. You may have a Toronto. Hashem.
Yeah.
Also doesn't know his information. Okay, so talking about a shliach. Yeah. Yeah. No, a non-Jew can't be a witness. You can't be a shliach either. Can't use a shliach. I'm sorry? That wasn't a Kiddushin?
Find the one.
Yeah. Bring her back. Okay.
Grab her.
43. Probably on the top. That's correct. On top of the page. Okay, so can the messenger also be a witness to testify what took place? Now, why should there be a problem there? Let's see. Rav Amar Shliach Naseid. Rav says a shliach could be, the messenger could also be a witness, which is very good. He knows the story better than anyone else, so he should be able to testify about it. But the yeshiva of Reb Shila was a teacher in Babylonia before Rav came to Babylonia. So he was Rav's senior. But I think Rav and Shmuel did not. There was a Gemara somewhere where Shmuel defended Reb Shila, Rav didn't. I'm not sure what sort of respect they had for Reb Shila. But he was definitely there before them. I think he was older than. Anyway, the yeshiva Reb Shila said, "Ein shliach naseid," that he cannot be a witness, the shliach. My time at the Reb Shila. What's the reason for Reb Shila? Why can't he be a witness? Maybe the reason is because you didn't tell him to be a witness. And a witness, you have to tell him to be a witness. Is that really so? Let's say someone hands a ring or a Kiddushin money, betrothal money, or a ring to a woman. He says, and the witnesses are watching. But he didn't say you should be witnesses. You want to say that that's not a valid betrothal? That should be a valid betrothal. You don't have to tell the witnesses that you should be witnesses. If they're watching, then they're witnesses. By our weddings, do we tell them to be witnesses? If we call them up as witnesses, we tell them to be witnesses.
In Kabbalah, I think in Kabbalah it's become customary to say these are the witnesses to the exclusion of all others.
Yeah.
I'm not sure others do that.
Yeah, and what's the reason for that? Because if there's relatives, then that would ruin it.
Right.
Ella Rav Amar. Rav says Shliach Naseid Alumi Kamalim Lamelse. We go back to explain Rav. Rav says he definitely knows the story, so it even strengthens it. If he's the messenger, he could also be a witness to what took place. Can't testify. You can't be a witness for yourself. And since shluchish ladam k'maisai, so must be a machlekes here. What is shlichus? This would be, like the Rebbe quotes Rabbi Spengel. There's 3 levels of shlichus. One is that the action goes back to it. One is the hand of the shliach is like the hand. Another one is that the person himself is like the shliach. The shliach himself is like the original person. So Reb Shila probably says that the person himself, that like the 3rd level of shlichus, it is the guy. So how could it be a test? He can't testify for himself. It's not how testimony works. Testimony is when it's someone else. Okay, anyway, we have a question. Someone tells 3 people. Go and marry for me a woman. So he's sending them, these 3 people, to go do the betrothal. So Beis Shammai says one of them is the shliach and 2 of them are the witnesses. He didn't tell them to be witnesses. They're all shluchim, and a shliach can't be an aid, can't be a witness. This is a very strong question on Rav. Rav says a shliach can be a witness. Let's see. That's only a machlekes because there's 3 people there. But if there would be 2 people, even Beis Shammai would hold that you don't have witnesses. They're asking on Rav, not only from Beis Hillel, but even from Beis Shammai. We'll see in a moment why we have to do that. It's a kasha on Rav already from Beis Hillel. We don't need to have a kasha on Rav from Beis Shammai. We're saying that even according to Beis Shammai, it's going to be a problem according to Rav. We'll see. It says, who the Yomar Ki Tana, because Rav follows another brisa that says, the Tanya Reb Nasan Neimer, Beis Shammai Yem Shliach Beid Echad. Beis Shammai says that a shliach plus 1 witness can testify. That means a shliach could be the 2nd witness. That the shliach needs that the shliach cannot be the witness. You would need to have 2 other witnesses there. Well, the Gemara says, and so what did you just accomplish? Rav Beis Shammai. You're telling me that Rav holds like the Beis Shammai. Gemara says, Eipa, switch the opinions around. Beis Shammai's opinion is really Beis Hillel's opinion. Beis Hillel's opinion is really Beis Shammai's opinion. So Rav holds like Beis Hillel after you switch the names. Now, the reason why the Gemara originally wanted to make it that it's a question on both is because it wanted to avoid that answer. We said in the first brisa that we quoted, said we have a kasha on Rav from Beis Hillel and from Beis Shammai. They said, okay, so we're going to go like another brisa, Reb Nasan, his brisa, but he also has a machlekes Beis Hillel Beis Shammai. The only difference is, according to the Reb Nasan, when I switch the names around, I get the answer. That's why we had to switch to a different brisa. Because in the first brisa, even when you switch the names, it's still a kasha, because both Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai don't hold of shliach naseid, like Rav says. Yeah, you follow that? It's good enough. Okay. Ravacha brei de Rava Masniepcha. Ravacha, the son of Rava, actually has the Amirayim different, which Rav and Rav Shila have a different opinion. Rav Amar ein shliach naseid. Rav says that a shliach cannot be an aid. The messenger can't be a witness. Reb Shila shliach naseid. Reb Shila says a shliach can yes be an aid. The hilchas shliach naseid. The halacha is that a shliach can be a witness. So that would be the opinion according to Rav, according to the first version, and that's the opinion of Reb Shila according to the second version. That's according to the opinion of Beis Hillel after we switched it around. Yeah, that a shliach could be a witness. Amar Rav Nachman. Rava says in the name of Reb Nachman, Nachman, I think, was a teacher of Rava, right? They've had that before. Amar l'shnayim, Rabba was probably like the main teacher. Chisda was probably another main teacher. Someone tells two people, go and make a betrothal to this woman. So Rabba says, in the name of Rav Nachman, that the shliach is the two shluchim are the two edim, and the same thing applies to gerushin. That if someone sends a get to his wife with two messengers, he sends two people, they could be the witnesses for the get as well. And the same thing applies to monetary things. If someone has repaying a debt and he gives the money to two people to take as messengers to the creditor, to the lender, they're repaying the money. Those two people could be the witnesses that it was repaid. It means when it ends up in court, a lot of times things end up in court. These two witnesses could be brought in to say, 1 second, to testify that he paid, and that's done. The deal's over. The case is closed, settled. B'tzricha, and it's necessary to say Kiddushin, Gerushin, and money, right? That shliach naseid. Diash min Kiddushin. If we would say that it only works for Kiddushin, mishum isrei kasi, we would say, why? How can we trust witnesses, the messengers, to be witnesses? We said, well, look, it's only to their detriment. They're making her married. It's not like we suspect that maybe one of them wants to marry her. It's the opposite. They're making her married. So, of course, they're being this is, you could trust this. Aval gerushin, but by divorce, if we didn't say that shluchim could be messengers for divorce, if shluchim could be the witnesses for divorce, then necher shemein of nasamba. Maybe he's claiming that he brought the get. He's also claiming that he wants to that we should rely on him. And it's all, the whole story is based on just these two people, actually. But maybe we would say that maybe they made up that one of them wants to marry her. That was a different story. That didn't have to do with the shliach for the get. That had to do with
He said, "Oh, I'll take the get to her."
No. What happened over there? We had the story in Gittin where
Woo!
yeah, let me look that up again. I remember there was something going on over there. He sent money or something. What did he send?
As far as I remember, he's like, "Oh, I'll take the get," and then, "Oh, I don't have the money for the get," so he loaned them the money, and then when he couldn't repay, he made the guy work with him, and then I don't know if they got married, but he served both of them wine, so he was crying and he would drop the wine.
What problem did you remember?
I'm not sure.
No, but he wasn't the witness on the get. He wasn't the witness. Oh, he might have been he delivered the get. I remember. Okay. Okay, we'll check it out. Okay, v'yashmin and gerushin. Now, if we would say gerushin mishum de'itzel beitrei lechazia, maybe the reason why it works by divorce is because a woman can't marry two men. So obviously they're saying the truth, right? We have two witnesses here, two messengers. But if it comes to money, that's money they could divide. So you take half, I'll take half. Could be the whole story. Is they were given the money to deliver, and instead of delivering it, they said, we'll say we delivered it and we'll split the money. And then they're the witnesses as well. They're the messengers, they're the witnesses. So tzrichi, that's why Rav Nachman has to say that we trust the shliach to be the shluchim, to be edim. Micah Savar, what does Rav Nachman hold? There's different versions over here, but if Reb Nachman holds that if someone borrows money with witnesses, the repayment of the loan needs to be done in front of witnesses as well, or else we don't trust that it was repaid. So we need witnesses there. And that's probably what's happening here. Because if it would be the other way, which the Gemara is going to suggest in a moment, then I don't need the witnesses anyway. And then I don't need the witnesses. So it's probably the case. So the problem is, one second. I have a Ruvain borrows money from Shimon. Okay, so now he needs to pay Shimon back. So Ruvain not hires. Ruvain.
Amen.
So these people are Nagea Beidus. Nagea Beidus means they're biased because the Amalai Parani. If the guy says, I was never paid back, Shimon says, I was never paid back. So Amarlahu, Haruni. Then Ruvain is going to say, if Shimon's claiming he didn't get the money, so you give me the money, give the money back to me. He didn't receive it, give it back to me. So when they testify that no, we gave it, so they're exempting themselves from paying the money back to Ruvain. They would have to pay Ruvain. Well, rather we hold how that you don't need to pay it with witnesses. And because they're able to say that we gave it back to you, knows we never paid you, they can also say that we gave it to the Malva, and that's why they could be witnesses that it got paid. Kasha on this is that then I don't need witnesses. Why are you telling me the witnesses? It's not necessary to say that to have witnesses. You could just say I paid you.
When do you need to have one
I think I know the answer to that. Sorry?
When do you need one witness?
We always need two witnesses. One witness can cause the person to make the oath, but two witnesses means that the deal is that the case is settled. See, the problem over here is like this: that the Ruvain that's paying back Shimon. Ruvain has a claim. Shimon has a claim. You never paid me back. I never got the money. That's a bari. Yes, I says I'm 100% sure you didn't pay me. Ruvain says I think I paid you because I gave it to the agents, and the agents claim I never got the money and I never gave the money. Or maybe they claim that we did give the money. The agents claim we did give the money probably, and Shimon saying I never got the money. So Ruvain is the only one that's in the dark over here. He doesn't know what's going on. He has two contradictory testimonies. Both of them are 100% sure. So he can't really say that I'm 100% sure that I paid you. So if they claim, if Shimon claims I was never paid back, and Ruvain says I'm not sure if you were paid back, all I know is that so then Ruvain's gonna have to pay again. So yes, this wasn't Steinmeier. Yeah.
Question and interruption.
Right. It's all right. The second question is when he has two witnesses versus one, didn't he say by Sota that if one witness actually witnessed what was going on, that would be okay?
Yeah. There was one. That's one instance of a witness. Okay, this is similar to. I'm sorry. One witness, but the one witness can do the same thing.
Herself.
Woman.
Woman when she says.
Oh, and she says her husband.
No, on herself. She said
Oh, that's for a student. Yeah. That's in the kitchen also. Say the food's kosher. I need to witness
It
it.
seems this logic would apply only if the borrower is the one who chose the aiding or the shluchim.
Right. Right. That's what it sounds like. The case that it's similar to is the Chen B'nai Al Pinkase. Remember the story where there's a guy that tells his workers, they say, pay us. So he said, take from the store, and he'll give you what you're owed. Go to the store. Go to the Chen B'nai. Go to so he'll give you what you owe. Anyway,
she's telling otherwise.
Anyway, the Chen B'nai says. Afterwards, the people claim that the Chen B'nai never gave us, and the Chen B'nai says, "Yes, I did give you, and you owe me." And he tells the Balabas that he owes them money because he gave them on credit. Now he has to pay them. He has to pay back, and it was a credit in the store. He has a ledger that he writes down what people took. Anyway, he says they took, and what happens now is they claim they never got it. It turns out that the owner. Employer has to pay the store, and he also has to pay the workers, and each one has to swear that they didn't receive. But okay, that's now Hashid Tikkun Rabbanan Shavuos Esses. So usually, when do you have to make an oath? Only when you biblical oath is usually when you deny partial payment, but not if you deny the whole thing. It's called the Moed B'Miktas. That's when you have a biblical oath. But here he's denying they're denying the whole thing. But when you deny the whole thing, there's a rabbinic oath. It's called the Shavuos Esses. After the Tikkun Rabbanan Shavuos Esses, Mishtabu Hani Edim D'Yehivnalei. Then these witnesses swear that they gave it to Shimon, to the creditor. And now the Shimon needs to swear that he never received it. Parlay life in Malva, and the Levi has to pay again. We've lost the witnesses over here. That's because of the Shavuos Esses. Once now that we have the Shavuos Esses, that there's an oath, so the witnesses don't really work, and they have to make an oath in order for this to work. It's not like it would be normally when you have two witnesses where it's done, right? Normally you have two witnesses, and then it would be the case is closed. They claim they gave it, and that's it. It's finished. It's over.
So is this another example of changing the general rule when it comes to loans to make things easier?
Yeah, I'm
You know
not
what
sure.
I'm asking?
Tell me.
I know what you're asking.
It's like, you don't need a basin of 3 mumkin. You can have a basin of hedyot
Oh.
to make it easier to make loans.
Uh-huh.
It seems like this might be in the same category.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think this has to do really with the institution of the Shavuos Esses, and that's why it changed. Who instituted Shavuos Esses? I think Rav Nachman himself. And this is Rav Nachman saying this a lot.
Well, they're more believable. Just the witness says, like, I pay for half, all of it.
Yeah, and that's why we make them swear, because the person, the way he gets out of it is by saying, I still owe half. And that's why we instituted an oath to make sure that they admit. Not we instituted, that's why the Torah instituted. There's a new Gemara here. A man can marry off his daughter. This is going to be interesting. We're talking about a girl now. We're going to discuss a girl that's a naira, that's age 12, in between 12 and 12 and a half. Some of this applies to a child as well, a katana as well, even though we said that rabbinically he's not supposed to marry off his child because she's supposed to be able to say she wants him or she doesn't want. But the right to be able to do that is in the hands of the father. In between 12 and 12 and a half. Okay, Tanan Hassam, stored in the Mishnah. Nara Murasa, the girl that's betrothed. Iva via Makabal Neskita. She and her father can receive the get from the husband. She or her father can receive the get. Rav Yehuda says nope. She can't receive her get. It's only the father that can receive her get.
Oh.
Father still has rights over her. She's only betrothed. She's not married, right? And so that's why the father can receive the get. Now it goes on. If there is someone that can't guard the get because they're not competent, mentally competent, then they can't get divorced. Why? Because it says v'shilcha that you have to send her out of the house, and someone that's not competent, you send her and she comes back. Right? She doesn't have that understanding that she's been divorced. She shows up again at the door. So mishalcha v'chizeres, mishilcha v'eina chizeres. Amar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says regarding this machlekes between the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Yehuda regarding who has the ability to receive the divorce document from the husband, is it the father and the girl, or is it just the father? Amar Reish Lakish k'machlekes l'gerushin kach machlekes l'kedushin. That exact machlekes applies to kedushin as well. Who can marry her off? Can she receive her own kedushin? There's a machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanna Kama. Tanna Kama says yes. Rabbi Yehuda says no. It's only the father can receive the kedushin. We know the father can receive the kedushin. We learned that from Sukkim. Rabbi Yochanan says machlekes legerushin avol kedushin divrei kol avi avol. Rabbi Yochanan says this machlekes is only by gerushin. Second. I saw half a text message come in. It looked like that my son's on the way to the airport. Okay, so yeah, I got two going on, and I'm going to get a third right after the share. Hashem. So, Yochanan says that the machlekes is only by gerushin. That means Rabbi Yehuda is the one that says that the girl cannot receive her own divorce, and the Tanna Kama says the girl can receive the divorce. Everyone agrees the father can, but when it comes to kedushin, everyone agrees. Even the Tanna Kama holds that only the father can receive the kedushin.
Oh.
Even the Tanna Kama. So notice Rabbi Yochanan limits the machlekes. He limits the hand of the girl when it comes to kedushin. According to Reish Lakish, according to the Tanna Kama, the girl can receive the kedushin, and and the father can also. They both can, according to
the father says no, and the girl says yes.
She's married.
She's married.
Yeah.
The father at all.
Right. Yeah. However, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's only the father. The only thing that's switching over here there's a machlekes, what the machlekes is. That's why it gets a little confusing. The machlekes, Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanna Kama, Rabbi Yehuda says only the father has the rights for the divorce. Reish Lakish says, well, before I get to Reish Lakish, the Tanna Kama holds that also the daughter has the rights. Reish Lakish says that machlekes also applies to kedushin, that the daughter and the father have the rights. Rabbi Yochanan says that machlekes is only by gerushin, but by kedushin, everyone agrees the daughter does not have the rights to receive kedushin. She only has the rights to receive the divorce, according to the Tanna Kama.
Is this the same age where the daughter's allowed to walk out?
That's before.
That's before 12.
Oh yeah, I think when does she go free?
No.
She's a maid servant. It was 12.
12 or 12 and a half. 12.
Mia.
12, Mian. I think it's only until 12. I think so. I think after 12, I think she needs a divorce. Yeah, I think she needs. That's only if the father didn't do that. It's only if she got married by the brothers. The brothers married her off. Okay, now to make it more complex, we have a machlekes. What is the reason for Rabbi Yochanan that's arguing with Reish Lakish on what the machlekes is between Rabbi and Tanna Kama? So it gets a little more complex now. Now the Gemara asks, Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina is a student of Rabbi Yochanan, right? He says, "My time with the Rabbi Yochanan. What's the reason for Rabbi Yochanan? I'll leave it the Rabbanan. According to the Rabbanan, that they say, according to him, that only the father can receive the Kiddushin. It says like this: Kiddushin, when it comes to divorce, that the daughter can receive. She's entering now into her father's domain. This Rabbi Yossi is making an assumption that the father wants her back. She's married and she's getting divorced and she's coming back into the father's domain. So the assumption here is that the father wants her back. So the father can receive the divorce, say, great, she's back in my house. And the girl can receive the divorce and the father would agree to that, saying, great, she's back in my house. However, Kiddushin, when it comes to marriage, the mafkas savia, that she's leaving the father's house, you would need the father's consent. The father would need to be the one that's receiving that. When it comes to Kiddushin, leaving the father's house, so then the father needs to have consent, and that's why everyone agrees. Gemara says, 1 second. This doesn't fit perfectly with the other halachas that we know. Why? It says very mimer is the rule of mimer. The way mimer works, not a mimer like a bar mitzvah mimer. Mimer is a marriage, rabbinic marriage that's done on a yibam, to the yibama. Remember, well, you know what that is? If a man is married to a woman and he dies and they didn't have children, now there's a widow. The widow marries his brother. Let's say Reuven and Shimon are married to, Rachel. Reuven's married to Rachel. Reuven dies. So Shimon marries Rachel, does Yibam. Now, before the Yibam if he doesn't want to marry her, does Chalitza. Before the Yibam takes place, let's say this Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar is one, there's a whole bunch of brothers over there. And Shimon is the one that wants to do the future Yibam. It's not ready yet, but he wants to. So he can quickly do a Kiddushin with her. And Maimer, and now she's designated, Rachel's now designated to Shimon. It's like a rabbinic betrothal before the actual Yibam. Yibam would actually be the relations they put together. Anyway, Maimer, the Mafkas Atzim Rishus Savia, Maimer takes her out from her father's house because I guess before the Maimer was done, she's in her father's house. Utanan, and it was taught in a Mishnah. Kitana mina erisin. You have a brisa there? Okay. Tanan usually means a Mishnah, but it could be it's a brisa. Tanan is taught in you say a brisa. Kitana mina erisin einasim b'maimer alimidas avia. What we're talking about here is that Reuven wasn't really married to Rachel. Reuven was only betrothed to Rachel. And so the mimer connects her to, is like another Kiddushin from Shimon. It's connecting her to Shimon, taking her out of the father's. Shimon is doing mimer on her. If it's a young child that she's under 12, then it needs to be her father needs to do the mimer, receive that money. However, if it's a girl that's 12, between 12 and 12 and a half, then she can actually do it herself. It sort of contradicts what Rabbi Yochanan is saying, at least according to that logic, that a Naira can't take herself out of her father's domain. She can only put herself in her father's domain by taking a divorce, but she can't get herself out of that domain. Here we're seeing by Maimer that she can. Now, there's a parenthesis here, Mashenkim Kiddushin, which probably is actually in that brisa, but it's not relevant right here, so we leave it out. Okay, we'll see later. So the Gemara switches. The Gemara says, rather we have to say it differently. Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, my time with the Rabbi Yochanan. What is the reason for Rabbi Yochanan? A new interpretation. According to the Rabbanan that say that the girl cannot receive her own Kiddushin. Kiddushin demidaita, Kiddushin that she needs her consent, she needs to know what's going on. So avia v'lahi, we say that it needs to be her father. Now, the way we're explaining this here is that what's going on by Kiddushin is that let's talk about by Gerushin. By Gerushin, I don't need her consent for the divorce. The get could be thrown into her property, and she's divorced even without her consent. You have to tell her that this is your gift, whatever, but you throw it at her and she's divorced. So she doesn't need to say, I agree, I don't agree, whatever. What if he misses? He has to go back and pick it up and throw it again. We'll make it into a paper airplane, so, and it's made it into her property. It's even if it's just closer to her, we don't need her consent. When it comes to Kiddushin, not to the divorce, only the husband. The husband can divorce her against her will.
Against the father's
will as well.
Wow.
So,
and if she was Mimanis,
one second, one second. Okay. But when it comes to Mimanis, that's you. When it comes to Kiddushin, though, so I need her consent. Can't throw a ring at her and say, okay, you're married to me. It doesn't work like that. She has to agree to it. Now, what we're saying, better than her agreeing because she's a child, is her father agreeing, because that would be the das machna. That would be the one that's giving her over, would be the father. So because I need consent over here, so therefore the father's consent is considered consent. However, so it's a via valahi, but Kiddushin the balkarcha, but divorce, which doesn't have anything to do with consent. It doesn't matter. You just throw it at her. It's fine. I don't need the father's consent. I don't need her consent. So either one is going to be good. That's Rabbi Yechanan's logic for why there's a stringency by Kiddushin that the girl can't take her own Kiddushin, even though she's 12 years old. Now, I know the father can. We have biblical sources, but can the girl? That comes out as a machlekes Rabbi Yechon and Rish Lakish according to the because of das. That's what we're learning now. Gemara says 1 second. Hari Maimer demidaita. What about Maimer? In Maimer, it says that the girl can accept the Maimer. Uktani ben hi ben avia. It says she can accept the Maimer as that marriage, right, with Reuven and Shimon. And she can accept it, or the father can accept it. It says Hasan b'Maimer de balkarcha v'Rebbehi. Over there, it's following a specific opinion that holds that Maimer is balkarcha, and it's the opinion of Rebbe that says because we're in this situation, that's why it's going to work according to Rabbi Yechanan. And okay, that's why that brisa is going to fit, because that brisa that says Maimer works whether she accepts it or her father is following that opinion. The Tanya was started in a brisa saying Maimer be avam tishlei medaita. Let's say someone throws a ring at his sister-in-law, the widow's sister-in-law, right? So in order to do Maimer, so Rabbi Yomer Kana, Rabbi says, okay, Maimer's done. Chum say it's not done. Okay, now my time at the Rebbe, what's the reason for Rebbe why that should work? You could throw a ring at her.
We had that case earlier, just with regular magic, just because they roll the ring on mine doesn't necessarily mean
right. Why by Maimer? Yes, so this Gomer Bia mi Yavama. Rebbe learns from the relations by the Yavama. Ma Bia the Yavama balkarcha, fachanami balkarcha. By the Yavama, what makes the marriage between Shimon and Rachel? Rachel used to be married to Reuven, betrothed to Reuven. Now, what makes the marriage? What consummates the marriage is the relation that Shimon has with Rachel. Now that doesn't have to do with her consent. That would be even if it's against her will, it would be a rape or something. Now she would be married to him. Well, if that's the case, then the Maimer we learn from the Bia, from the relations, that it's the same way. It could be without her consent. Rabbanan Sabri Alfina Kiddushin. Rabbanan say no. 1 second. Maimer is like a Kiddushin, and Ma Kiddushin de Midaita Afachinami Midaita. It's over here. It's only Maimer. It's not the actual Yibam. Yibam is without consent, but the Maimer is different. Maimer is Kiddushin. Kiddushin would need consent. So that's a machlekes Rebbe and the Rabbanan. And if this brisa follows the opinion of Rebbe, then we can understand why she can accept the Maimer as well as her father, because it's without consent. And that's what we're saying. Consent over here is what makes the difference. If she can, if you don't need consent, then she can do it as well.
I have the impression that all cases.
For Kiddushin, you need consent. You don't need consent for Yibam. You don't need her consent for Yibam. Now the question is, what about Maimer, which is a Kiddushin for Yibam? Marriage is consummated by Yibam, even without her consent.
So the man would do chalitza.
Well, Chalitza is a different story. But if he wants to marry her, he wants to do Yibam, then he can, without her consent, have relations with her, and she's married to him.
He has the choice of Yibam.
He has the choice to do Yibam Chalitza, but we don't need her consent in that.
Oh,
But when it comes to the Maimer, that's somewhere in the middle. So that, do you compare it to Kiddushin, which you need consent? Do you compare it to Yibam, which you don't need consent? Maimer is like a Kiddushin or a Yibam. That's Machlekes, Rebbe, and the Rabbanan. Rebbe holds. Now, based on that, we can explain why the Naira, the girl, can accept it according to Rabbi Yochanan, even though he holds Kiddushin, he can't. Why? Because according to Rebbe, Maimer is without her consent. And just like divorce is without her consent, that she can receive it, so to Maimer she can receive it. But my kamiflagi, what is the machlekes? Rebbe Savar Mili di Yavama mi Yavama. Let's learn Yibam matters from Yibam matters. Mi Yavama Habalei Melech. That's why we should learn it. And just like Yibam is without her consent, so too Maimer is without her consent. Rabbanan Sabri Kiddushin mi Kiddushin Habalei Melech. We should learn Kiddushin from Kiddushin. Maimer is a type of Kiddushin. Another Kiddushin is only with her consent, so too this is also. Well, the Gemara says, Hachinam Mistab, it also makes sense to explain it like this. That Maimer is against her will, but that other Kiddushin not. Kiddushin Rabbi Yochanan. As it, because when you look at the Seifa, it says Masha Enkim B'Kiddushin. Remember by Maimer, that case that the girl and her father can receive the Maimer, which is the money for Yibam, for Kiddushin, for betrothal by a Yavam. It says that both the girl and the father, but by Kiddushin they can't. It can't be the girl and the father. So it's only okay. The Gemara says if that's the case, it's so clear. Then this should be a kasha on Rish Lakish, because Rish Lakish said that Kiddushin, the girl can receive the Kiddushin according to the Tanakam. That's only a kasha if you say that this Bryce is the Tanakama, but maybe the Bryce is Rabbi Yehuda, where Rabbi Yehuda holds that the girl cannot accept the Kiddushin. It's not a kasha on Rish Lakish. And that machlekes by Gerushin is the same machlekes by Kiddushin, and so therefore the girl can accept it. Gemara says, one second. You Rabbi Yehuda, if it's Rabbi Yehuda, Mashenkim Kiddushin, why are you saying which is not so by Kiddushin? Mashenkim Gerushin mi bailei. It should say which is not so by Gerushin. Gerushin is more of a reason that she should be able to receive it, and you want to say the truth is he holds by both. Right? He holds that by both, he can't receive it. And they hold by Gerushin, the Tanakama holds by Gerushin, she can receive the divorce. And Rabbi Yehuda is the strict one. He says by Gerushin, she cannot. So if you're saying by Maimer, she can, so Rabbi Yehuda holds both by Kiddushin and by Gerushin, but the bigger Chiddush is by Gerushin, she can't. It should say Mashenkin by Gerushin, and then for sure by Kiddushin, she can't.
You mentioned that he would pay money for the Maimer.
Maimer would be money, yeah.
So that would imply that there's a Kenyan.
Right.
And
but just like
and she cannot make a Kenyan.
Well, she's 12.
Well, she's 12 now.
Yeah, she's 12. She's in between 12 and 12 and a half. Okay. The Gemara says Einachanami. But I did the Tani Maimer, the Damila Kiddushin, Tani Nami Mashenkin Kiddushin. Since you're talking about Maimer, so we compare it to Kiddushin. But the truth is, the same thing would apply to Gerushin, that the girl cannot accept because it's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, Maishna Maimer, Hail is a Kukavaymed. What's the reason why Maimer it does work? It's not because of it's against her will, because divorce is against her will, and it also doesn't work. So the Gemara says, because Hail is a Kukavaymed, because she's already attached to the husband, that's why Maimer works with her. There's already an attachment there. The Gemara says, Hashtadasis Lahachi. If you want to say that the attachment is what makes the difference, originally we had a kasha on Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina where we said that Kiddushin is taking her out of the father's house, and Maimer is taking her, and Gerushin is putting her into the father's house. We had a question, what about Maimer? And because of that question, what about Maimer? We switched the pshat. Says you don't have to switch the pshat now. Mimer, the reason why mimer works is because there's already an attachment. Shani mimer, I'll just go to this. Okay, yeah, I'll have to leave it over here. Okay. Good day, everyone. Good yard. Good yom tov.
Thank you.